I don't want to write any script now which I don't believe in completely. If I don't have the conviction, I would rather go back to acting. I would not make another film now. But if it's a film I have to make, then it has to be on my terms. It has to be on what I believe in. And with that approach, I wrote Lagaan.
In '93, when you made your first film, it was called Pehla Nasha.
Yeah.
When I heard the title, I was wondering, did it have anything to do with that song from Jo Jeeta Wohi Sikandar?
Oh, it did, yes.
Yes?
It did. Yeah,
How
yeah.
come?
Well, I loved the song, first of all. And it came at a time when I was writing the script and directing somehow became kind of a first obsession for me. I was looking for a title that reflects that, even in the film. And that's how I thought, why not have Pehla Nasha? It has a romantic ring to it. And if you're asking whether I took permissions, yes, I did. I spoke to Mansoor Khan, who's the director of the film Jo Jeeta Wohi Sikandar. And he, of course, consented. In fact, I called Majru Saab also.
Yes. Oh.
So Majru Sultanpuri ji he's no more now. He's a very great poet in India. And he's the one who wrote this song. So I took his permissions also. And I think it suited the film.
Yes. And what did Majru Saab say when you asked him? Was he surprised?
No, he wasn't surprised. He was, in fact, what he said was कि भैया मुझे क्यों पूछ रहे हैं आप? मैंने तो लिख दिया है for Mansoor के लिए, which means that why are you asking me?
Yes.
I've already written it for Mansoor,
Yes.
so you should take the rights from him.
Yes.
So he was very by my second film Bazi, the lyrics were written by him.
Yes. Well, I had also the pleasure of meeting him. He was a really extraordinary man. When you were directing for the first day, it's a long time ago, but do you remember that first day when you had to call out action?
Yeah.
What was the scene? What was the shot?
Oh. Well, I kept it very simple. It was just of a car driving in and coming very close to the camera and halting, and 4 people stepping out. So nothing dramatic here. Even what I did was all my first initial scenes that I was shooting, I kept them very, very basic. Because it is one thing to be present on set as an actor and observing the director and observing how the set is functioning. And it's a completely different thing to be now calling the shots. So I was quite stressed, quite tense. Of course, a lot of people at that time were also of the opinion that, directors now should go to film school and they should come out from film schools. And in my case, what had happened was the Film and Television Institute of India, which is the biggest institute in the country, was going on a strike at that time. It was on a strike. And so I didn't have any time to lose. I thought, let me not wait for that strike to end. So I was actually just jumping into making this film.
And when you had worked on Holi, obviously Aamir Khan was there,
Yeah.
and you've got Aamir, and I don't know if you all know and how many of you have seen Pehla Nasha, but I think it's the only film in which Shah Rukh and Aamir appear in the scene together as themselves. How did
Yes.
that happen?
Well, my colleagues in the films that I did as an actor were Aamir and Shah Rukh and Deepak Tijori. And all 3 knew that I was, there was a churning that was happening in which I wanted to become director. And they 3 felt very confident of me. So they always said to me that, Ash, I think you have it in you to become a director. And when the idea of the Pehla Nasha came about, then I had the scene and I requested them to, come in. So I convinced Aamir, I convinced Shah Rukh, I got Saif. Deepak brought in Ravina, Pooja. In fact, in Pehla Nasha, at the end of the film, I have Juhi coming in and doing a closing scene of the film. So for Pehla Nasha, this was a kind of, all the actors fondly came and helped out, by participating. Of course, later I did Bazi with Aamir, and then with Shah Rukh I did Swades. But Swades is the other film in which you'll see Aamir and Shah Rukh in the same frame.
Remember Aamir?
That's when Shah Rukh is watching Aamir in Yadon Ki Baaraat.
Oh, yeah, the very young Aamir.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. One more question about Pehla Nasha. Did you find that the reaction to the film, were you happy with it or disappointed with it, or did it do what you wanted to do?
No, I was absolutely shattered because the film sank. I mean, it was a box office colossal. And of course, the arrogant side in me at that time said that the audience doesn't know. They didn't understand the movie. You know, it's a work of art, and probably they'll get it after 5 years. So that kind of an emotion stayed with me for some time, and soon it dawned on me that it's the script. The audience is always right. Uh, in fact, Pranasha and Bazi came really very close to each other. And even Bazi was an average success. Uh, it was positioning Aamir as an action hero, which was a big, big task. Um, but it didn't find an audience. It just recovered the money. So after that, I realized that I don't want to write any script now, which I don't believe in completely. Um, if I don't have the conviction, I would rather go back to acting. I would not make another film now. But if it's a film I have to make, then it has to be on my terms. It has to be on what I believe in. And with that approach, I wrote Lagaan. It took me about 2, 3 years to do that, but that single-minded focus helped me a lot.
When did you realize, yeah, the script's done, or does that really happen at the edit?
You're absolutely right. No, it's not just the edit. I think the entire post-production is a phase that, edit is good, but the sound design is something that can enhance the film. The background score can enhance it. And I feel the mix, because earlier I used to always think it's the editing, which, is the end all. If you have the film right in the edit, everything is fine. It's not. There are so many other layers, because music can create a mood and an emotion in the audience for a particular scene, which actually probably was not working. So, however you may try, you want to keep as much time in the post-production, but usually it comes really at the last moment. Everything happens in too much of a frenzy. Me and Sunita, we always, because she produces my films, we always decide this time, this film, we're going to keep 6 months for post-production. It never happens, because the forces of filmmaking are such that it just becomes a little long drawn.
Obviously, everybody here knows the film very well and must have heard lots about its making, but obviously the main thing was that it got the attention of the West, which hadn't happened for many, many, many years. And in terms of the Oscar, after 44 years, it was the second Indian film after Mother India in 1958. You were the second Indian film to ever be nominated. Was that a kind of a daunting experience, this whole Oscar thing?
No, it wasn't daunting. I think it was a wonderful experience. It was something that was one of the best phases or chapters of my life. One was always aware of cinema, and one was attending film festivals and, looking at how world cinema is. But never had I thought that a film that I'll make will compete within that frame where, you have so many different films from the world competing. Now, it being sent, we were all content with the fact that the film has already done a good business. It's very popular in India, it's popular worldwide, and there's a lot of interest. So we were all content with that. So the Oscars became a new, when it got sent as India's entry, it became a new emotion for us. And we had no connections. When I'm saying we, I mean Aamir and me. No connections in LA. And one fine morning, Aamir called me and said, "You know what, let's go to LA." So we just took the flight and landed in LA. We didn't know where to go, whom to meet, or how we're going to push the film, what is the marketing that we're going to do. We're completely clueless. So we had only one simple philosophy, that we must talk about the film as much as we can to every person in LA. Tell them about the film. It's important for them to know that there is a film called Lagaan that's coming in from from India, and that they must see it. Or even if they don't see it, they must tell others. And there's a song that we used to, the two of us would always sing every morning we left for our job, was Do Bechare Bina Sahare, which means two poor little things with no support. And that's a very bad translation, but that's what it is. And we told as many people as we could. In fact, we told the valet of our hotel also. The hotel we were staying in was Wyndham Bellage. And we told the valet also that there is a screening. Now, the system was that we had to have 3 screenings, which are from our side, for as many people who can come and see the film and talk about the film. These have to precede the 3 screenings that the Academy keeps. Now, I can't reveal too much of the Academy because I'm a member and, I can't go into the detail of that, but I must tell you this. So our task was to create a buzz before the 3 Academy screenings. We did whatever we could. So the first screening of the Academy, we were not allowed to go near the theatre also because no producer or the director can come wherever the screening is happening. So we asked someone when the film was about to start, how many people are there? And we were told 3. So in this big hall, there were just 3 people sitting and watching the film. Our hearts sank. But still, the second screening was going to happen after 3-4 days. We again went on telling everybody, Lagaan, Lagaan, picture aa rahi hai, dekho, blah, blah, blah. Second screening. And the time to start the screening, and we asked, how many? 17 people. So we're feeling good that, okay, 3 se 17 ho gaye, bhai, it's a good thing. Third screening when we came to, the capacity, I wanted the capacity, the people in the theatre, 120. Capacity of the theatre, 120. So it was a full house. And that's where, from 3 to 17 to 120, I think somehow the buzz had been created because 3 told many people, 17 told others, and that's how we secured the nomination.
Yes.
But just to answer as a completion, even getting the nomination was for us
It's a big achievement.
a great achievement.
And where were you when you heard it was nominated?
We were at Aamir's house because we knew that it was going to be announced at Pali Hill. And it was unbelievable. Just when they said Lagaan, it was everyone, whatever dance art forms that our crew knew, we were performing all of them. So it was a great moment.
Do you find that Lagaan was a turning point in terms of the Indian cinema itself?
No, I wouldn't say that. In terms of, it's for you to say that, is what I mean. I think Lagaan, what happened was it definitely put us on an international map. The awareness and the buzz which it got in places like Germany and Italy and France. These are markets that were not watching Indian films, unless it was a film festival in those countries. Lagaan opened up that market. Also, I think that such a story can be told on screen, became a big boost for so many other writers and directors who started thinking of really out of the box stories. And usually we have a herd mentality in terms of if you have a musical that works, everyone wants to make a musical. If you have an action, a Wild West, even in Hollywood, if you have a Wild West film that works, every studio wants to make a Wild West film. So in the same line, I think in what happened in all the cinemas within the country is that they were all wanting to try this new thing in terms of creating a new idiom. So in that sense, Lagaan helped for Indian cinema.
For me, Lagaan really worked because it tells a very kind of intimate story as well as a big story.
Yeah.
And then the whole question of the dynamics between the British and the Indians, that was a very interesting angle, which had not been that popular in India in terms of the audiences.
Yes. But, let me tell you that while writing it, I was not thinking about all of this.
True.
I was just writing a nice, entertaining story. It's a what-if story. It is fiction, but it's created in a manner where it is set in a non-fiction world. So there is a certain realism, and there is also a certain dramatic aspect to it. So that was the combination which became very apt for a film like Lagaan.
That's a very good way of describing it, because it was very fictional, but because it had the backdrop of reality,
Yes.
it rang true, truer
Yes.
than just the fiction.
Absolutely.